everyone, and good evening to everyone, and all. Welcome this evening to Level Up. I'm your host, Everton, along with my co-host, Pam.
Good evening, everyone. We're so happy and excited that you are able to spend your time and your evening with us. We are so happy that you are part of our Level Up family. Thank you. I am absolutely thrilled to have someone that I've known for the past 20 years on today with us. My beautiful, inspiring, dear friend, Jennifer Karan. Over the last 2 decades, I've watched her grow, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and she has this unwavering dedication to her craft. Jennifer's journey shows us that there are no quick fixes. That is a powerful truth that she is a representation of. She will show us that real transformation, whether it's in fitness, nutrition, mindset, or lifestyle, is consistency, dedication, and showing up every single day. Today, we'll be diving into her story, her growth, her habits, what it took for her to keep going. Jennifer, thank you so much for being here with us today.
That introduction was amazing.
It was actually, I must say, it was top.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
I'm honored to be on your show and
Absolutely.
Level Up. That is the best name ever. Yeah.
That's what we do.
I know, I love it.
We try.
It's like basically how my story unfolds. Truly,
Wow.
is always trying to level up.
Wow.
Sorry, I'm not that good at that in the mic.
That's what we try to do every day. So Pam, take it over. Go ahead.
Well, Jennifer, can you share with our audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So I started fitness when I was 14. So when I was 14 years old, it's kind of like I started looking at bodybuilding magazines. Like they were like basically all that was there. The internet wasn't there at the time. No Instagram, no social media. So it was just like bodybuilding magazines. And I always found something about it that caught my attention. Like I loved seeing the women fit. And at the time, I think it was a little bit less muscular than what we're kind of dealing with today. But I think it was still something that I was like, oh man, I want to look like that. I think that is sexy and beautiful. And so my journey kind of just started like from the magazines. I would like look at workouts and kind of follow what the magazines were saying. I didn't have like a training background or anything like that. So then I started training by myself, just in the gym. Then I thought, well, let me get my personal training certificate. So when I was 18, I got my personal training certificate and I started training clients, mainly private clients. I thought like that was something that I loved. I would go to their homes and it was like always something like that I was told like I was really good at, and they, like loved just sort of like the way I trained and my passion, basically.
Well, I can attest to that.
Yes, you can.
Jennifer, we met in this health and wellness field.
Yes.
And Jennifer used to train me. And I remember,
Yeah.
I remember
I used
those
to kick
days.
your-
So much fun.
Used to kick your butt pretty good.
She sure did. Yeah.
Amazing. Now, 14 though, so as you said earlier, I just want to dive into that a little bit. So at 14, and I don't think we had the social media, and I know for sure we did not have the social media we have now.
We didn't. No,
No.
we didn't.
So at 14-year-old, because I don't like, and was even health and wellness a big?
Wow.
Okay, that was interesting.
This is what happens when we're live.
Exactly,
We
live,
never know
okay.
what's going to happen.
Health and wellness, was it a big thing around at the time, at that age? Was it something that was talked about, or it wasn't as big?
I feel like it was kind of an underground thing. Even the gyms were like very underground. I'd be lucky, like YMCA, I guess, would be like
YMCA for sure. That's me.
the
YMCA.
yeah. So like the YMCA used to be like sort of like where I went. And to be honest, even today I'm still learning. Like I would have to say that how I trained back then probably was not right at all. And even today I'm still like thinking, oh wow, this form of training doesn't need to be so heavy all the time. I can still put on muscle with like sort of a lighter weight that's like going to prevent me from getting injured. And yeah, so it's like it never ends, the learning process. Always, yeah. I think if you think you've got it covered, I think it's over. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, when you think you know it all, you're dead.
In anything in life,
Or
truly.
in anything.
Yeah.
Because should be always striving to be learning more or being a little bit better than we were yesterday.
I think that's the ultimate goal, right? Is to just like be better than where you were. And I think in my fitness journey, that's truly been what it has been. I have always been sort of happy with like what I look like when I'm on stage that year. But I always think like I can be better.
Wow.
I know I can be better. And so that's always been it for me.
What an inspiration to our youth out there. At 14, to have some awareness or a goal to become something or to do something when we are not bombarded with social media. And today there should be no excuses for us and our youth to have some, skill, some goal, something that we can look at and say, that's something that I can work towards. Amazing, Jennifer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think if I could just throw something out for those who have goals in their lives, and I'd have to say like getting my pro card was always like my main goal, and I failed many, 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 many times, and we may not want to call it failing.
Did you say failed? Wow.
I don't call it failure. Do you call it failure? We call it lessons, right?
Lessons.
Lessons.
Yeah. Well, we're all hard on ourselves, and for sure we'll say at the time I failed, but ultimately it did not fail. It was just a lesson that I absolutely needed to learn and get better at. And ultimately, I never gave up, and I think that's truly like the ultimate path to look at is it hurts when you don't get something you don't want, right? I worked so hard to get this pro card, or even in a job or a promotion or whatever it might be, like it doesn't mean that if you don't get it, feel the feelings and be mad and be sad, but pick yourself back up and keep going because you will get it. Yeah.
What kept you, because you mentioned something that you've been doing this for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And to always trying to be better, improve. What kept you going? Because you mentioned that you failed a few times or lessons that you learned, but what kept you going after because in life I think that we have dreams, we have visions that we want to accomplish and goals, but we hit a snag, a crossroad, a bump, and sometimes we get derailed at the bump and we quit. What kept you going?
That's a great question because I think confidence in yourself is really, really, really important. And I think sometimes people can maybe, as a youth or even growing up, may tell you like, hey, like, that you're not good enough to do that or whatever it might be. And people might take it for the truth and then quit, right? And I just didn't feel that. I knew like inside that was my passion and that was my route. And don't get me wrong, I definitely had moments where I'm like, maybe I'll quit this bodybuilding thing. Like maybe, like it's not the hardest when you're in a relationship either, and you need to have support from the person. And so many times I was like, you know what, maybe I'm gonna quit, and give me a year, maybe 2 years, and I'm like, nope, this is like my calling, like in a passion of something I really love. So yeah, just gotta work through it in your head, I think.
Absolutely.
This is another huge inspiring moment here. We hear of people who have achieved goals say that they failed, but every time we look at somebody who's who's a actor or a writer, somebody that's not in our circle, we feel like, oh yeah, maybe it's true, maybe it's not. And I'm so grateful that I have a real life example in front of me that, okay, I failed, I got up, and I kept going, and I just did it over and over again. So a message to us all that just keep going and never give up.
But Pam, but to your point before you continue, oftentimes, as you said, we see the actors, the athletes on TV. We see the CEO, we see the end product, the end result, but we don't get to see their journey or know their story.
Yeah.
And Pam we can touch her. She's right here. So she's a product of endurance, a product of telling that I'm here, the results are here, but I can tell you my journey because oftentimes we don't know the true story
Of course.
behind what we see on TV.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you don't see the grind.
We don't see the
There
grind.
is
We don't
We
see
don't
the
see the
grind.
grind. Oh,
We don't see the grind. That's right. And
Yeah.
I've been with her for at least 20
Yeah.
years,
20.
and I've seen her, work
Yeah.
at it. Like
Yeah.
Can you talk about before? Can you talk about the grind a little bit?
Yeah, I would love
Talk
to.
about the grind.
Yeah. I think like even social media, you'll kind of always just see the end product, or even if, I'm in a magazine or whatever it might be, it's that end product of the person who's lean and fit or whatever. But man, there's a journey leading to that, leanness as a female. It's, there's a lot of hunger, and you cannot eat. Like you literally have to fight through it, right? And so sometimes you're like, oh, like, can I chew gum, or can I, like something to try and take it away? So that's always a very difficult thing, as well as social life, right? That's completely taken from you because, well, you don't want to put yourself in a setting in a restaurant where you can't eat the food and, you're not able to, or sometimes even a party, you can't have that alcoholic drink, you can't have their food. And so you're just sitting here with like your own container. And sometimes it's better to just remove yourself from that, like pressure, temptation, that's the word. Yeah, because, I have to say, like in the starting journey of my career in bodybuilding, I tried to please everyone, and I would show up at these events or these restaurants because it was someone's birthday, or, I felt guilty missing something. And honestly, like, it was so hard for me because I was like, I wasn't having fun, right? Because I can't let loose. But I mean, there are sacrifices you need to make for people you love, and you will show up to these events because you have to. But I also make choices now in terms of where I choose to go, where I'm like, you know what, I don't want to go in that situation. I'm really hungry, and I don't want to sit around like everyone eating when I can't eat, or, that sort of thing. Yeah, and then energy is another thing, right? Like you plummet with energy. But you know what? It's super cool to see your body transform from an off-season look to a competition look.
Right.
It's like an art. Yeah, it's really cool.
All the hard work you put in, you're like, okay, this is really why I put the grind in.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my
So
gosh,
this is why I
like
don't
it's
say
science.
Sacrifice, because I can see the result. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I love that.
Well, then
That's
on
the-
that note, can you walk us through some of your habits or your daily rituals, your training or your nutrition, something that you've instilled in your life and maintained over the years, and how they've helped you stay consistent?
Absolutely. So sadly, bodybuilding is just not a season. Like, when you're in prep, this is how you eat. Basically, the off season is everything that's going to lead you to a better in season. So off season for me is probably the most important part of my, journey leading to prep for competition. So that means that I pack all my food. I even have protein pancakes in my car for when I'm done. I never leave the house with at least like 5 to 6 meals if I'm working. And I hit the gym, 5 to 6 times a week. And obviously building muscles, like what I'm looking for off season, which means that calorie consumption is very important for me. So right now I'm eating about 3,000 calories a day, 300 to 400 grams of carbs and protein, and I measure everything and make sure that I get that amount of food every day, and my water is in there. And of course, I have flexibility for the social life, which is obviously important. I have to take advantage of that when I'm off season with my friends or whatever. But yeah, I basically kind of eat the same thing every day, and I'm okay with it because ultimately, that's the food that's going to fuel me and keep me healthy and energized, and keep my immune system strong and away from getting sick and all that. Super important for me.
I'm listening, I'm hearing something here, Pam. Even though we're talking about bodybuilding and staying fit and in shape and the grind, I'm hearing that same application can apply to anything that we're doing in life.
Absolutely. This discipline, the discipline.
So success has a process.
Yeah.
Yes.
You talk about the eating process and the off season. So it's not just, okay, I'm going to show up for the show on stage, but I'm going to prepare myself in the off season.
Yep, pretty much. It's like a all year round process.
Well, 100% example of no quick fix.
yes.
Or that 10-week beach body.
No, that stuff angers me.
Yeah.
On to be quite honest with you, like people like saying, "Oh, I'm gonna cut all my carbs because I'm going away on vacation, or
Yeah,
I'm gonna, like do a celery juice fast, or whatever all these things are." And also, like apart from having my personal training certificate, I ended up going to school for nutrition, and I got my holistic nutrition degree. So I'm very passionate in nutrition, and I know that quick fixes don't work, and the yo-yo dieting actually, in fact, is worse for you and your health than anything. I think people lack like the ability to do hard things.
But isn't that what we're doing? But isn't that where we're in now, where society, my son, he plays basketball, and we have this conversation quite often, and we look around and we're saying, and I would say to him that you want to get here, but here's what we have to do to get there.
Yes.
And sometimes I find that the society that we're in with the younger generation, they want it, but they want it without putting in the work.
I see that a lot now. I see that a lot. I don't know if it's social media and the gaming world or whatever it might be that sort of changed people from like just wanting to watch TV or social media, or maybe seeing a finished product on social media and saying, I want that,
Yeah.
but not knowing how to do the work in between.
I think it's also, as much as there are examples, like we can watch Jordan's story and know how much work he put in,
Yeah.
or Serena Williams' story and see how much work they put in it. But at the same time, there are simultaneously so many examples of overnight successes. And I think that deters the youth and a lot of even adults to say, hey, maybe I can get that quick result.
But is it because they're seeing the finished product and not seeing the behind the scenes work? Even a person who's doing YouTube nowadays and they're making millions, it still takes work behind the scenes to set up, to know your content, to prepare, right? And I think what's happening now, what I'm seeing from my lens, is that most folks want the success
Yeah.
in business, in your personal life,
Yeah.
like a good marriage, a good friendship,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
good with your
In
kids,
all areas of our
in all
life.
areas of our
Yeah.
lives. We want to have these things, but it takes work.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Even in a good relationship, and 100%, if one person decides that they're going to stop, putting effort in, at some point it'll dwindle down. I think that's the same with any sports or a job or whatever. Like, if you go in just half-assed, that you're probably going to get that result back. But also with the quick fixes, I think advertisement today is one of the big problems too.
Yeah.
Like there's advertisement
Absolutely,
out there
yeah.
of like lose 15 pounds in
Yeah.
2 weeks with this
Yeah.
program, and
Yeah.
people who,
Or some 20-year-old model with perfect skin
Yes.
advertising a wrinkle cream.
yes, the
Okay,
cream.
and,
Yes.
And I've seen, like, I've even heard my own mom, and we'll be watching some program and a commercial for hair product comes in, and she's like, oh, do you think that will work for me?
I know.
I'm like, that hair doesn't even look real, mom, right? And
Yeah.
it's natural, because when you are craving for something to happen, it's our tendency sometimes to reach for that and say, oh, like I really, really want that, and I want it fast, and I want it bad. So, hey, maybe that pill will work, or maybe that will work. But here we are, prime example that it is work. It is hard work, but it doesn't have to be not fun or not enjoyable. You have to make it enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I could add to that, like, I think the reward is the most beneficial thing out of all of this, because when you do something hard and you don't give up and you succeed, there is something that comes over you that kind of sort of says you can do anything, and that opens up doors, like, and that gives me shivers right now.
Well, we call it data. In our last session
Yes.
we said that's data. When you win, that's data you're collecting.
Yes.
And you build
Yeah.
on that data. To say,
Yeah.
I want more data. I
Yeah.
want more wins.
And now
I
you're
want-
capable.
and keep up.
Yeah.
Yes, you can do
So
it.
you can keep going, and you
Yes.
can keep, at it. And I think, like, that's gold.
Well, that was one of the things we talked about to overcome fear of doing anything.
Yeah.
Is collecting data,
Yeah.
doing something hard, and it could be whatever level of hard that you are. and building on it and say, okay, I got through that, you know, and that only took 5% of me, 10%, and then I could do 20%, and I could do 40%, and I can achieve the goals that I want to do.
But look at the show. When we started the show, we had no data. We were just thrown into the fire, literally like 3 Hebrew boys in the Bible, and we didn't know what we were doing. And show after show, we build data, more experience. And you know, you said something earlier, and I wanted to go back to that before Pam jumped in. And what I heard you're saying is that success, it will cost you something to be successful.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I get it. Like, life is busy. You know, like everyone's busy running around. You got kids, you're dropping them off, you got to go to work, you know, and you're like, how can I possibly fit in something else? So, yes, I get that. And honestly, excuses will always be there. Okay? So you can make excuses about anything. Sometimes my work, I work 12-hour shifts, and somehow I still manage to get in a workout and walk the dogs and, you know, like make food and make my meals, and because I have a goal of something I want. So ultimately, all the excuses are there. So you can pick so many of them, but if it's something you really want, then you can make time and room for it. And yes, it does cost time, absolutely, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
So your why has to be bigger than your
Yeah.
anything else.
Excuses.
Your
Yeah.
excuses or the cost or what you're giving up.
Yeah, and I think like you know, you could start small, for instance. Like if your goal is to like, I'm going to use the bodybuilders as an example because we're talking about that, like get on the stage and it's your first show and you have a coach and then you find yourself dropping 30, 40, 50 pounds and getting on stage for a competition, like that's a win, because that in itself is the biggest fear people have. You don't have to come in first place, right? But you definitely set a goal. You worked through the many times you wanted to quit, you chose not to. You probably cried a few times because you were frustrated and tired, and you kept going, and you made it to that stage, and that in itself is a win. Yeah.
Can you talk to someone that they're home sitting, watching, listening, and their goal may not be to get on stage, but to get off the couch and just to get moving? How do they get from standing still to say, I can't do this, I've tried everything, just to get moving and just to have a active lifestyle? And
also follow up with that is on the days that you're like, I don't want to do this. Because even the most seasoned and experienced, I'm sure you have those days. Just to let you know that it doesn't come naturally and easy for anyone.
Yeah.
Can you share with our audience what makes you say, okay, I don't feel like it, my emotions are in it, my kids are getting to me, or whatever may be getting in the way? How do you surpass that and say, I'm going to go?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think you have to have the vision of the goal. So whether that be you have less pain in your body, or you have more energy, or you sleep better, you have to either you're writing it down or you're reading it every day. Journaling is amazing.
Yeah.
So journaling, don't think about why you're feeling that you don't want to do it. Or sure, when I'm in prep for competition and I have to do 2 workouts a day and I'm on 1,200 calories and I'm hungry, don't you think that doesn't go through my head? But the bigger picture is I want to win. So I guess what is the bigger picture for you? Do you want to live longer for your kids? Do you want to have more energy so you can play with your kids or take them out?
I like that.
Then that will get you up.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So make the reason bigger than yourself.
Yes, because we can all sit here and say, oh, I don't want to be in I don't want to get in the car and be in traffic to go to, I don't want to, like, I can come up with excuses all the time. But then if I think about, you know, do you want to show up on stage 80% and then get beat? And then guess what? You are going to regret that.
Yeah.
And regret is, as we all know,
Yeah.
not the best feeling. So I think, like, if you're putting in the work, put in the work and be the best version of yourself so that you can be better for whoever is in your life.
Family,
or, yeah.
friends, who knows?
Yeah, because I know it's tough because we all get in a rut and, we get in a routine, and I get it. It's very hard to get out of that routine, but like step out of like your woe for a while and think about why you want to do it for someone else perhaps, or even for yourself to be healthier, right? And yeah, but trust me, once you get out of that rut and you get into a routine, it's game on.
And don't you find that once you've worked out, your mood changes anyway?
It's literally like I've never, ever, ever spoken to anyone who says, oh, I wish I didn't work out.
Yeah, right?
The energy.
It's like the endorphins that unleash oh my gosh, you'll feel like so amazing afterwards. It's just getting there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And I find that it's probably the
Wish
worst
we could
part.
bottle that feeling up and
I
just
know.
spray it a little bit on in the morning and
I
say,
know.
I don't feel like, okay, spray it on.
It's the dopamine, serotonin and dopamine. They just like the make you feel good feeling.
Yeah.
So exercise does that. Yeah, I'm definitely addicted to exercising for sure. Yeah, and I think a lot of people say like, I get this a lot. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. So then this is what I tell someone. Tell me, what is your passion? Like, what do you love to play the guitar?
Yeah.
Or do you like to sing? Or, do you like to just walk? Or what is it that you love that you think? And then they'll say, oh, I play the guitar, I love it. I said, I don't know how you do it.
Oh,
That's not my passion.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. Like
like
you're
that.
relating
Yeah.
your why and what do you do to their why.
Yeah, and then
make
they're
them
like-
see the parallel.
Yeah, they're like, well, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I love exercising.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's just like everyone's got their thing, and you have to sort of like find it amongst yourself. And guess what? Bodybuilding might not be your thing. And that's okay. It's mine. But like, find your why, like you're
But
saying.
even though it's bodybuilding, because when I look at that and I see bodybuilders as athletes, and I'm a sports guy, I watch football and basketball, and I'm not there, but I know the discipline, the sacrifice it takes to be top in whatever field you're in.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
can imagine even in your space, in your realm, to do what you do, you have to compete at a high level.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't mean that, not because you are not a football player or a basketball player, doesn't mean that you don't sacrifice. Doesn't mean that you don't grind, that you don't feel pain and you have days when you're like, what am I doing this? But because you have that drive inside of you that this is what I want and nothing will stop me.
Yeah, and what's crazy is like when I got my pro card this year, it's like when I tell you, it unleashes like doors of like, wow, okay, I can do this. And now ultimately my goal is to get in the Masters Olympia stage, which is a massive goal, but I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it.
You're gonna do it. I know. I know
You can do it,
I
of
know.
course.
She's already there.
That's good. Any final words you want to give to someone that's out there that's watching? And we have said so much, but if you could say something to someone that it needs to be motivated, what could you say to them out there that's listening?
Yeah, so I would say like don't sort of think about the process in getting there, because that will derail you, because it's always a bit of a long road, like whether you're trying to start a business or you're, like trying to get like a master's degree or whatever it might be. The road is a grind, but just think about like what you want and always the feeling of what it would be like to get there. So like if you think, oh wow, I want my master's, and then think about yourself at a time where you have your master's. Congratulations, you got your master's, well done. And that feeling, if you just hang on to that feeling, then you will just automatically get there. The grind will be a lot easier, but I'll tell you, the reward at the end is fascinating. And like you said, I wish I could bottle that up for sure. But
Well,
yeah.
the feeling is the prayer, right? When we pray for something, you want to thank God in advance, and that's what you just touched on right now. Feeling is the prayer.
Absolutely. Thankful. Be thankful.
Well, we just want to thank Jen for being here with us today. 30 minutes is never enough. I'm
Never,
going to have to have
never
you
enough.
back on it.
Absolutely.
Just wanted to let you all know, we spend all our wealth chasing in youth, and then we spend our youth chasing wealth, right? So what we want to do right now is instill some sort of small habit in our life, daily life, to just get on this journey of health. Health is everything, whether it's just sitting, doing some body weight squats while you're brushing your teeth, while you're making coffee, do some jumping jacks. There's always something we can implement. And if you want inspiration, please check out Jen's page. Jen's Instagram page is?
Yes, thank you.
Jennifer Karan?
Yeah, so it's Jennifer Karan at IFBB Pro. Yeah.
Right. And if you need any assistant, I'd be honored as well. Please DM.
Thank you, everyone, for joining again. Thanks for tuning in always to Level Up. Have yourself a wonderful evening. Awesome. Stay leveling up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.